Hello, everyone. Hope you are well today. And for this week, going into the new week, my encouragement for you is to not only take all, but ask for all the IONs from God. We are used to asking God for a lot of IONs, protection. We want provision. Sometimes we're asking for permission. We want all of the IONs. But there's a couple that we don't always ask for that we very much need. Sometimes we are given these IONs when we weren't asking for it, but right when we needed it. One of the main IONs I'm talking about that we need to pray for, receive, and walk in is correction. Correction. Another one is revision. But a lot of times God provides protection and provision through correction and obedience to that correction. Through revision, giving us His vision, His clarity about things that maybe we already have our ideas about. Maybe we think we already have figured out, or we're yet trying to figure out. A lot of times God will allow us to see something from a different purview, from His purview. Maybe we don't see all of what He sees, but when we ask Him to, and we set ourselves to hear from Him, and we ask Him to help us to obey, through His correction, He provides protection. He provides a lot of the other IONs that we ask for through giving us a revision of thought. You know, the Word of God tells us to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. But it also tells us in, I believe it's 2 Corinthians 2 and 13, that God is giving us the power and the ability to do what pleases Him. And, you know, ability is not always skill. Ability oftentimes is the self-control, the discipline that we need to do what pleases Him. The power is not always something that we can see manifest itself on a stage, or something that allows us to do supernatural things. You know, even though really at the end of the day, everything we do that keeps us going is through the power of God. So a lot of things that we take for granted are literally supernatural. But what I mean is, oftentimes the most supernatural, most powerful thing that we can do that will transform our lives and greatly impact the lives of others is attached to discipline. It's attached to obedience. It's attached to correction. It's attached to patience. You know, it's attached to being thankful instead of complaining. Having a heart full of thanksgiving instead of a heart full of worry. Being willing to open our hands and release things to God that maybe we so desperately want or wanted, or so desperately want to control, and oftentimes even for the good. Sometimes in relationships to other people, when we can release our hands and give those things to God, that is sometimes the most powerful move that we can make. And I can say on a personal note, there are three things that I know going into this week that God has corrected me on, or brought to my attention, and reminded me to not take for granted, and to get on taking care of these three particular things, and not neglecting to do it expediently and not drag my feet. And it just dropped in my heart while I'm speaking to you. Maybe a week or two ago on Threads, Dr. Jackie Green, she said something along the lines of, a lot of times sometimes God will change your mind about something, but if you don't take action, your mind will change back. That just dropped in my mind as I was speaking, about one of the things that God has been talking to me about and nudging me ever so gently and lovingly to get on this. From a natural perspective, a lot of times we keep telling a child something and it's like they're not listening, and then you have to raise your voice, and then they're startled, and then sometimes, especially if it's a young child, not only are they startled, they start crying. Their feelings are hurt. So why are you yelling? Why are you raising your voice? But they don't realize, I was saying your name gently, but you were so into what you were into, and this is expedient. This is about your safety. This is about your wellness. I need your attention. And sometimes, God nudges us ever so gently, but sometimes He gets a little bit louder about certain things. And He does it, obviously, because He loves us. And that's a part of correction. That's a part of chastening. And so, He's so merciful and so gracious towards us that a lot of times He whispers and taps us gently for a long time. And then it gets to the point where it's like, hey, hello, I need you to jump on this, and I need you to jump on this for a reason. And so, take your time sometime today, if you haven't yet already done this for the week, and just, write down what are the whispers of your heart that God is speaking to you, that where you need to take action. So, whatever it is, I just want to encourage you today, pray for and welcome the ION of correction and revision from God this week. And I promise you, if you do that, you will be glad that you did it. Those will be seeds well sown into your spiritual well-being, into your overall wholeness and wellness as a person. And whoever it is that you touch is going to benefit you to listen to God in those areas where He's bringing correction. Because through those areas of correction and being obedient and seeking Him and relying on His power to obey, you will find the protection and the provision that you need. All right. Have a wonderful week, and I plan to see you tomorrow.